When the grid goes silent, analog security becomes the last line of defense. In an era obsessed with encryption algorithms and quantum-resistant code, few people consider what happens when the digital world fails. Cyber attacks, grid collapse, or total surveillance can render modern communication useless or, frankly, dangerously transparent. History reminds us that secure communication did not begin with silicon chips. Long before fiber optic cables, societies relied on physical methods that were astonishingly resilient. From wartime couriers to air-gapped networks, analog cryptography remains one of the most secure forms of message transmission, precisely because it exists outside digital systems. In this guide, we examine three powerful components of analog security: the one-time pad, steganography on microscrolls, and the localized dead-drop protocol, where even a pigeon can serve as the final secure link. The one-time pad remains mathematically unbreakable when properly executed. The one-time pad is not folklore or romantic spy fiction. It is a mathematically proven encryption method that, when used correctly, cannot be cracked. Its strength lies in simplicity and discipline. A message is converted into numbers, often by assigning numerical values to letters. That sequence is then combined with a random key of equal length. Each character of the message is paired with a character from the key, usually through modular addition. The result is a completely randomized ciphertext. The crucial rule is that the key must be truly random, used only once, and kept secret. If those conditions are met, no amount of computational power can reverse engineer the message without the key. Even if a physical courier carrying the encoded scroll is intercepted, the contents are meaningless without the matching pad. Applying this method in a modern analog context requires preparation. Two parties must share identical random pads beforehand. These can be generated through physical randomness, such as shuffled cards, dice rolls, or atmospheric noise converted to numbers before any communication breakdown occurs. Each page of the pad is used once and destroyed immediately after decoding. This discipline prevents reuse, which would otherwise compromise security. In survivalist scenarios, this method allows secure communication, even in a total digital blackout. Steganography conceals information within harmless text. Encryption hides the meaning of a message, but it does not hide the existence of a message. Steganography addresses that weakness by concealing information within something that appears ordinary. A harmless, handwritten letter can carry hidden data in plain sight. One method involves embedding coded information through predetermined word intervals. For example, every fifth word in a paragraph may spell out a secondary message. To any interceptor, the letter appears to be mundane correspondence. Only the intended recipient, aware of the interval rule, extracts the concealed data. Another method uses subtle variations in punctuation or spacing as markers. Even ink density, or tiny marks in margins, can encode signals. When applied to microscrolls carried by a courier bird, steganography adds a layer of protection. The scroll might contain a routine personal note, agricultural updates, or benign trade information. Hidden within it is the actual instruction set. If intercepted, suspicion is minimized because the content appears harmless. To apply this practically, both sender and receiver must agree on the embedding system beforehand. The rules must remain simple enough to execute under stress, but, subtle enough to avoid detection. Combining steganography with one-time pad encryption creates a dual defense: concealment and mathematical security. The localized dead-drop protocol removes direct contact from the equation. The final element in analog cryptography is procedural security. Even perfect encryption can fail if operational discipline collapses. The localized dead-drop protocol eliminates direct meetings between sender and receiver, reducing exposure. In this system, communication travels in segments. A message is prepared offline using the one-time pad. It is then concealed through steganography and placed in a secure container. A courier, historically even a trained pigeon, transports the scroll to a predetermined location rather than directly to the recipient. That location, known only to the receiving party, serves as the dead drop. The pigeon functions as the final link in an air-gapped chain. There is no digital trail, no electronic handshake, no metadata. The sender never meets the recipient. The drop site could be a hollowed tree, a concealed box, or a marked stone. The recipient retrieves the message later, decodes it using the matching pad, and destroys both scroll and key page. Applying this protocol requires careful planning. Establish drop sites in advance, rotate locations regularly. Avoid patterns. Ensure that couriers are conditioned to return reliably without drawing attention. Most importantly, never compromise pad secrecy. Layered analog security outlasts technological collapse. What makes analog cryptography compelling is not nostalgia, but resilience. Digital encryption depends on infrastructure. Analog methods depend on preparation and discipline. In a total digital void, these techniques remain functional. The one-time pad provides unbreakable encryption when properly executed. Steganography hides the very existence of sensitive communication. The dead drop protocol eliminates direct contact and digital exposure. Together, they create a layered defense that mirrors modern cybersecurity principles without relying on electricity. For history enthusiasts, this approach echoes wartime intelligence operations and resistance movements that relied on ingenuity rather than machines. For survivalists, it offers a blueprint for secure communication under extreme conditions. Security is never about a single tool. It is about systems and discipline. Analog cryptography reminds us that resilience often lies in simplicity.